Welcome to the chat, Dr. Khan. Let's start with your own personal experiences first. You were born and raised in Pakistan, an Islamic country, but once you said your favorite Chinese literary work is the classic novel Journey to the West, which is about the legendary pilgrimage of a Buddhist monk. That, to some people, especially those who believe Buddhism and Islam are diametrically opposite to each other, is something unimaginable. How did you come to love a Buddhism-related work in the first place?
Xuanzang's journey is not just about religion, but of course it's about religion as well, because at that time Buddhism was very important in China. And his journey is really a journey of courage, a journey to go and find where the knowledge is, and to also overcome many obstacles on the way. So he traveled a long way to what is now India and especially beyond Nepal.
Right.
But he went through also the cities which I know very close to my hometown as well.
Oh,
So
where is it?
I'm living very close to Islamabad, so he
Right.
went through the areas like Peshawar, he went through Taxila. Taxila has very important Buddhist world heritage as well, so very old. So that has intrigued me a lot about his journey of connecting, but also his journey is like the journey of the people now on the Belt and Road, for example, the Silk Roads as well. It's a very inspiring journey. But at the same time, Pakistan, of course, right now is an Islamic country, but we also have minorities of Christians and Hindus and Buddhists and others. Also, Pakistan's history is not only the history which is last 200 years or 300. Like China, you have a history of more than 5,000 years. Similarly, the history of Pakistan is over thousands of years, and many people have traveled to Pakistan and have witnessed many harmonious ways of living together. So, to me, Journey of Xuanzang is really a classical Chinese endeavor to connect with the world, to overcome many difficulties, and to also something to celebrate in the end. So, going all the way, getting the knowledge about Buddhism, but also knowledge about culture, Nalanda University in India, to the birthplace of Buddha, Mubini, and then coming back to hometown and then celebrating. So this whole journey and the way Xuanzang went, and the mystical characters like the Monkey King is a very, very special thing. And it's part of also UNESCO's intangible heritage, like part of the Peking Opera.
Yes.
So all this is fascinating journey. And that's what we are doing as humans even today, to connect with the world. If we think about people-to-people exchanges, shared prosperity, the Silk Roads, the ideas of Belt and Road. So it resonates very well with me, and I don't see any barrier of religion or culture. We are part of a global village. We are all interconnected together. We have to have religious harmony. We have to respect all faiths. So in that regard, I think the most important uniting factor is culture, our desire to connect with each other, and very importantly, something to celebrate once we overcome all these difficulties. Like China has come through so many difficulties of development, so many difficulties of unification from all the years of 5,000 years struggle, and now to become a superpower in the world. So it's also like a journey of courage and struggle and linking together and celebrating what is best in the world. So religion cannot be a barrier. It should actually help us understand better what is best about humanity.
I can see that's your favorite book. Once started, you can't stop talking about it. And you also raised it to a higher level, usually probably not so often recognized or acknowledged by average Chinese here. You have a deep understanding of that book. And which is your favorite figure? Xuanzang, the Buddhist monk?
Xuanzang is really very mystical, wonderful character. I also like his depiction
Right.
that he's carrying on his back the scriptures when he's coming over the mountains all the way to Chang'an. So he is certainly a very interesting character, a student and a teacher at the same time. So he's someone to be, I would say, still idolized as a person who is seeking knowledge, who is willing to commit himself to go. But also the mystical characters like the monkey and the kind of, it's linked also with the Hindu mythology, you know,
Right.
with the Hanuman, which is also an Indian god.
Right.
And then, you know, it is a kind of merger between the Chinese mystical cultural values and the Indian values and traditions. So what comes in the novel may not be exactly what happened, but it has brought together those ideas. And that's what we are trying to do right now, to bring intercultural dialogue, interfaith harmony, and to celebrate what is best about humanity. So that's why this novel is fascinating. It has 100 chapters. I've not read all of them, but I've seen the play as it is played, so it's wonderful.
Right. Usually, the Chinese people would prefer the Monkey King, you know, pick him as their favorite. But your favorite is Xuanzang.
Xuanzang is a professor in my view.
Right. Similar roles.
Yeah,
Right.
because of seeking for knowledge. That's what we are doing. You see,
Right.
my field is water management, and I was born in Pakistan. I studied in UK. I came back to Pakistan. I worked there. Then I moved to Australia. From Australia, I used to come here to China very frequently because you have Yellow River, you have Yangtze River, we have Indus River, the Murray-Darling. So my journey is also a journey of knowledge and understanding. So I went far away places like in Kafung, for example, and understood how Yellow River flows and how irrigation is done and how water is used for producing rice.
Right.
So Xuanzang's journey was to go and find truth about the Buddhist scriptures. So my own journey is to go and find the truth about how can we be more sustainable with our water management. There is a Xuanzang in each one of us. We
Right.
are trying to find that truth about life and how to live a better life and how to gain that knowledge and how to bring that knowledge back to the people to whom it matters. So Xuanzang is certainly a very special character.
Right. But don't you want to have those superpower, you know, like the Monkey King? You can change everything, you know, improve them in a just a blink of a wink, right?
Sure, but that has already come now. We
Alright.
are cyber humans now. So, like the handphone in your hands, now you have the power to bring the cognitive artificial intelligence, and you can
Right.
ask many questions which only Monkey King would have been able to answer to Xuanzang or to protect him.
Right.
The power of artificial intelligence is in our hands. We have the ability to move much faster. We can fly. And very importantly, we can assimilate knowledge much faster. We can use the power of the camera and all of that. So I think there is a Monkey King with each and every one of us with the technologies we have now. So, but we still need the critical mind and the struggle and the determination of Xuanzang to go through this world with open eyes and to see the world, experience the world, and bring all what is best about knowledge and wisdom.
Right. I always wanted the superpower of the Monkey King. He can change things in a snap of fingers. Right. In China, when it comes to Buddhism, there is a very important concept called the yuan or yuan fen, which can be best be defined as a kind of a subjectively perceived chance that brings people or people and events together. So what kind of yuan fen, or I'm not sure if you heard of that concept, or chances brought you to China as the director of the UNESCO office in Beijing? Obviously, you've already touched a little bit upon that, but can you further elaborate a little bit?
Yuan Feng is the same concept in Pakistan. We
Right.
say husn-e ittefaq. So it's like with a pleasant happening that it happened. So, but for me, it has been a long journey in life. So when I was a child in Pakistan, we used to follow Chairman Mao, Chairman Chou En-lai, and many Chinese used to go to Pakistan for cultural exchanges, and there were songs of Jive, Jive Pakistan, which means long live Pakistan.
Right.
So China has always been very fascinating for me. Like Xuanzang's journey was to the west, my journey was to the east. So I was coming to the east. So with my knowledge and what I learned about water management, as a professor in water management, unless you know about the water management in China, and especially along the Yellow River or the Yangtze River, you can never be complete. So that was the Yuan Feng for me to come
Right.
here. But I have been coming to China since 1999. So it has been a long association as a professor. Several of my students are now professors in China in universities like Wuhan or Institute of Water Hydraulic Research, or in areas such as in Sichuan with the Sichuan University. So,
It's nice.
so I have a lot of that kind of affiliation. So when the chance came, I had a possibility to be regional director in Africa or in China. I opted for China naturally, and I'm very
Right.
happy to be here. It has been 3 years, and every day has been a day of Xuanzang's journey where I learned something new about China.
Right. We're happy to have you here too. And late last year, something about your work at UNESCO. At the UNESCO General Conference in Paris adopted a resolution to establish the UNESCO International Institute for STEM education in Shanghai. STEM stands for science, technology, and engineering and mathematics. It marks the first time a UNESCO Category 1 institute for STEM will be located in China and also outside of Europe and America. So, what's behind the decision?
It's really recognition of China's tremendous work in progressing science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. These are very important fields for China and for the world. Like the progress which China has made in renewable energies, for example, solar panel, that needs a lot of science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Electric vehicles, like the miracle of BYDs and
Right.
the other electric vehicles. But at the same time, the building materials we have, at the same time, ecological civilization and the cleaning of rivers we have and the lakes we have here, cleaning of the air we have in China. So there are so many wonderful examples, including into the nanotechnologies, into the medical sciences, into the vaccines, what we witnessed during the COVID times when China offered vaccines to the world. So it's a recognition that China has the knowledge of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So that led to this resolution, first through our executive board,
Right.
and through our general conference last year, which recognized that this 10th Category 1 institute should be established in Shanghai with great support of the Chinese government, both from the central as well as from the Shanghai government levels. So it's a great recognition. And certainly this is the only institute which will be dealing with science, technology, engineering, mathematics, but not only for China, but for the whole world. And for those countries which are in need of this knowledge, like small islands like Timor-Leste or islands like Apia, Samoa, countries in Africa, which certainly need science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to progress more and achieve what we say human dignity,
Right.
create better jobs, have better water supply, have better food security, have better transport, to be able to provide safe drinking water. So all those areas need capacity building in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So this institute will help many people around the world. So we are very excited. So I was part of the feasibility studies of it, and when the General Conference approved it, it has been certainly a great moment of joy for China,
Right.
for my office, but I would say for the whole world.
But Beijing is lagging behind Shanghai.
Not really, because this institute, while it will be established in Shanghai,
Right.
it will be drawing upon many institutions throughout China. including, for example, at Tsinghua University, we have wonderful centers which are dealing with carbon neutrality issues.
Right.
With the Petroleum University, we established a special chair we're dealing with the areas of carbon. There are also artificial intelligence and education applications from the Beijing Normal University. So we shouldn't think that it's for Shanghai. The institute is from China to the world. Shanghai has the honor to host it, but all cities are partners into this China's great offer to the world from China. So we are looking forward to Shenzhen, we're looking forward to Beijing, we're looking forward to Nanjing, Wuhan, and every city must contribute through its universities and institutions, and vice versa. The institute should be able to link with the UNESCO chairs, with the UNESCO centers, which are like in Hainan, we have a special UNESCO center which is about UNESCO schools, and we are looking forward to that particular center should also link with this institute in Shanghai. So I don't think any city can be left behind.
Fair enough. But can you explain a little bit what the average, the common Chinese students, like primary students or middle school students, can actually benefit from such an institute? Give us some specific examples, please.
When I went to Shanghai, I saw students as young as less than 10 years old. They were able to do programming of drones, for example.
Right.
And not just a single drone, they were able to fly several drones using the programming on their computers. So many exciting areas like that, but also to be able to link with the robotics, for example, exciting fields now, or to link with new electric vehicles and their models, like what different companies are offering here, but also to be able to use their minds creatively to understand the basics of mathematics, the basis of science, and very important how we bring science and technology and engineering together. So young students from very early stage, they start thinking about how we apply such knowledge in our lives on a day-to-day basis. So once you imagine these very young children who are able to program robots or the drones, or to be able to understand the renewable energy, to be able to understand the environmental issues, as they are growing, they are developing this sense and understanding of being a responsible citizen, but at the same time they become the innovators and entrepreneurs of future. And that's what we need, because world needs jobs, world needs security for food, world needs safe drinking water.
Indeed.
For that we need to provide solutions. So rather than they are seeking jobs, these young people, my desire and my wish and I hope is that these young minds will become the solution providers and entrepreneurs of future, bringing those businesses which are desperately needed for the world, and they lead the world with their creative, innovative ideas, and they help establish the next Fortune 500s, and these would be the brilliant minds which will bring the next phase of technologies to the world.
So you're saying that those students can enjoy what their counterparts in Europe or in America have?
So I think in China we shouldn't underestimate China. Chinese students are very, very bright, and their minds are really very switched on. We just did a major hackathon this week with the Tsinghua University and several other institutes, with the Academy of Sciences, Chinese Academy of Sciences. And we had young minds, as young as 12 years, providing new solutions, for example, to the villages. I saw one of the students from Beijing, a beautiful girl who came up with an idea, how do we provide cooling water during the summer, or hot water during the winters by the lesser use of energy. Very, very interesting ideas. But at the same time, we saw many solutions coming from the universities around China, with the latest issues such as robotics, nanotechnologies, issues related to carbon emissions and all of that. So Chinese students are already very smart, but also China has a culture of opening up and linking with the world. So there are many international students who have come to China through many of the programs, including the China UNESCO Great Wall scholarship as well, but also there China Scholarship Council has many of the scholarships. So already the connection is there.
Right.
But now with this institute, the students, teachers, universities will be able to link more globally with the institutions in Europe, also in America, as well as in Africa and in Asia. So this is what we need, and that's what President Xi's vision is: shared prosperity and people-to-people exchanges, a better understanding and respect for all cultures and civilizations. What was started by Xuanzang carries on to this Category 1 institute as well. We need the technology Xuanzangs of today who find what is best in the world and how we bring it to the benefit of humanity, so people can live a life of dignity with food security, with water security, with health security, and how we connect better and how we continue to play a role for peace and for sustainable development, avoiding wars and helping with the shared prosperity, leaving no one behind.
Yeah.
So this institute will be very important.
Shenzhen would like to have all those conditions. So let's talk a little bit about the development of education, science, and technology here in China. And about UNESCO, founded in 1945, UNESCO is some 4 years older than the People's Republic of China, witnessing the growth of the country. So apart from the UNESCO International Institute for STEM education, there have been a lot of other breakthroughs along the road. So from the perspective of UNESCO, what would be the most critical achievements or milestones China has had over the past 7.5 decades in terms of education, science, and culture?
First of all, there is a miracle in China in education, universal access to education. And lifting more than 800 million people out of poverty through education. That's already a miracle in my view, and it's something which every country wants to do. So universal access to education, China is one of the first to achieve in the world. Also in the areas of culture now, we have China as one of the strongest countries. We have 57 World Heritage Sites, one of the greatest numbers, only one less than Italy. But we have very, very beautiful cultural heritage, like the Mogao Caves. We have, like here in Beijing, you have the amazing Summer Palace, for example. You have the Great Walls and many, many others. So many to even name them. But also China is number one in the world for intangible cultural heritage.
Right.
So great achievement for China, Chinese people, and also bringing Chinese culture to the world. Also, we have creative cities, cities of gastronomy. So it's, the cities of media and arts, and cities of designs, for example. So there are so many of those wonderful achievements, and China within the UNESCO programs related to culture. In the areas of science and technology, we have many achievements from China, including providing knowledge about how do we use the satellite technologies and how we conserve our heritage sites. But also we have the very amazing biosphere reserves in China. We also have amazing global geoparks in China, many, many wonderful examples. I will be going actually end of this week to Changbaishan, which is the largest global geopark in the world. Very, very beautiful.
I'm so envious.
Yeah. So it's really a period of achievement of China. And China has made tremendous progress all the way from Chairman Mao all the way to President Xi. So this is a journey of achievements through hard work, through bringing science and technology, bringing the ideas of education, bringing culture at the forefront. President Xi visited our headquarters 10 years ago.
Right.
And he came up with wonderful ideas of global civilization, as you know, that we need to give respect to all civilizations. No civilization is superior or inferior. And during spring only comes when all flowers bloom. So that's very important. That's what really precisely we have in UNESCO, that we need to have intercultural dialogue. When a property becomes a UNESCO World Heritage Site, for example, the Forbidden City, or for example, the Mogao Caves, they need to have outstanding universal values. These properties don't just belong to China, they belong to the world. Like if you think about Mohenjo-daro, which is a site along the Indus River in Pakistan, it's a very beautiful site, more than 4,000 years old in terms of its history and link with water and heritage.
Right.
That belongs to the world. So from all of those angles, China has made huge progress and at the same time helped other countries as well with the areas of education and with the private sector, like especially the technologies. We have special UNESCO centers here, like in Shenzhen, we have a special center of higher education with the SUSTEC University and with many of private sector like telecommunications and mobile phones. So they are like Huawei, they are helping countries in Africa, countries in Asia to bring these technologies in education. Like in the areas of culture, China has been helping countries such as Cambodia, for example, with the Angkor Wat. So there are many of those examples of collaboration which China has done through UNESCO and through UNESCO programs.
World Heritage Sites. Yes, like you said, we're now number 2, right? But that's not the important part. Like you once said, it's not about competition. What we care most is how to hand it down, intact to the later generation, and how educational it could be for our people or for the rest of the world. Like you said, it's the property or for the whole world,
yes.
Right. And in terms of the intangible heritage, do you have your favorite?
Oh, Peking Opera.
Oh, right.
Monkey King is there. But also Guqin.
Guqin.
Yeah, very, very special in terms of the
musical
instruments. So there's so many wonderful examples, like this week, Dragon Boat Festival.
Right.
So every one of those intangible heritage, they are also bringing what we say living heritage. They are linking us with the world. And there's so many Chinese living in other parts of the world, and they are also celebrating many of these intangible heritage. And now with the UNESCO Creative Cities, we have creative cities of gastronomy. Like Macau's food is very special.
Right.
The Sichuan food is very special. So the food which comes from Guangdong province.
Cantonese
food. So all of these are food is also part of intangible heritage as well.
Right.
So these are all special. And as you said, it's not a competition between nations. It is about the whole humanity enjoying what is best in the world and bringing that respect. And China is a leader in bringing those outstanding universal values of these World Heritage Sites and the intangible heritage and the creative cities, but also linking with the world. And in the process, we are learning so much. As I said, in the last 3 years, every day is like in a school. I learn something new about China.
That's nice. And you talked about the cooperation between China and other countries when it comes to renovation of their cultural relics.
Yeah.
I was based in Myanmar, as an overseas correspondent for CGTN for 2 years, and witnessing Chinese organizations helping build or renovate local school buildings, Chinese experts assisting the UNESCO World Heritage Site status application by local cultural sites such as Bagan, the city of over 2,000 pagodas. And in Africa, actually, China has established funds worth millions of dollars to support teacher training and the development of higher technical education. But are such things what those countries really or most need right now? we see U.S. President Joe Biden saying that China initiated BRI, which also includes education and cultural development projects, apart from improving infrastructure in those countries, has quote unquote, become a nuisance graveyard initiative in Africa.
Not necessarily. I don't really agree. First of all, the Silk Roads and then the concept of the Belt and Road and the Maritime Silk Road, these are very important connections beyond economy.
Right.
And if you think about thousands of years over which people have been traveling along the silk was very important and also part of technology. Nobody at that time could produce such a fine fabric which was so thin, so special with the designs and everything, and everybody wanted, and they wanted to know the secret of the silk as well. But at the same time, tea, very important, and tea, by the way, is UNESCO intangible cultural heritage, as well as we have special landscapes which are part of the World Heritage. So tea, silk, but also spices, as well as the ideas which flowed, and people bringing many of the religious and cultural and other ideas together. So that was very important at that time. Now, as the Belt and Road has materialized, and as we are witnessing, including in my country, in Pakistan, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor has been a very important part of building a future for Pakistan with many projects in hydropower, for example, or in the roads and the Gwadar port, which is so important, linking with the oceans and future trade, but at the same time helping the education institutions in Pakistan with links with the universities. I know that there are tremendous links with the universities in Pakistan and with the scientific institutions, and especially for the young people. I know so many young people from Pakistan have managed to come to China to learn about science and technology and about many areas like in education, like in sports education, education which is linking with AI, education which is for rural revitalization. So these people, as they change their own lives, they go back and they become very important agents of change to bring prosperity. And learning from China, they will be able to then bring the next chapter of development for their own countries. So all these investments are the real investments which will bear fruits, and all of them, many of them are bearing fruits. So these projects are beyond infrastructure. And these projects are also about bringing that shared prosperity and that people-to-people exchanges beyond, I would say, just words to real actions. So for UNESCO, education, science, and culture, and the benefits of that, and communication, information, social human sciences, how do we overcome social inequalities? These are all very, very important areas and very beautiful.
Right. You've said a lot of good things about China, but has anybody questioned your, because you're you're from Pakistan.
Yes. Sure.
And the two countries have this strategic partnership of all-weather strategic partnership, right? So of course you would say nice things about China. So when it comes to such kind of questions, how would be your response then?
My response is you should go and see and talk to those people whose lives have actually changed.
Right.
You go and visit the universities in China and talk to the international students and what they have learned. And I think what we need to do with CGTN as well, maybe we should come up with a series of stories of individuals along the Belt and Road countries.
Right,
so, like
nice idea.
How they have actually benefited from these investments beyond infrastructure. And of course, there will always be geopolitical tensions, and there would always be negativity about many things. But the world needs more positive energy than ever before. And young people have the energy and the right kind of ideas to change this world. And China's focus also on young people in countries from Africa. We run many programs with cities such as Nanjing and Changsha, and we bring many young people from those countries who come here. They witness. They are hosted very nicely. They see many of the ideas which have been implemented, and they bring these ideas back to their countries.
Right.
So I think we should run a series of those voices, how people have benefited from these projects. And it's not about the infrastructure investment. It is to invest into the minds of today and tomorrow who will change. Like I'm also a story of coming from a middle class family and building my career through better knowledge and better understanding and going to the right universities and meeting with the right people and lifelong learning. That will change the world.
Right. That would be more persuasive then. Then, looking forward, what would you say is the biggest challenge China's facing in education, science, and culture development as the country is now seeking a transit to a new era of high-quality development?
China needs more interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary approach to education. I'm also a graduate from the countries like UK, and I've been a professor in Australia for
Right.
many years. So in my view, looking into where the universities are now and where different levels of education are, we need to bring more of the knowledge of different disciplines together. Some of it is happening, but a lot more needs to be done. For example, if someone is very good in doing robotics and drones and coding, we need to bring entrepreneurship to these young minds. So they are basically following business approaches. We also need people in arts and design to understand what technology can do for it. For example, the work of conservation and how you use the power of computing and 3D imaging and all of that. So that would be very important. But also very importantly, there are new disciplines and new fields which are emerging. Like for example, people who are doing e-commerce on Taobao.
Right.
Yeah, so they need new skills to be able to make some clips and market their products and to be able to link with the platforms and link also with the platforms like WeChat, WeSing, and how you do all these transactions and how you bring a new kind of graduates with the technical and vocational education. People who also understand the realities of the developing countries, because many of these Chinese students have to go and work in those countries as well, and vice versa. Those students will come and work here as well because we need a global workforce. So better understanding of culture, a more rounded interdisciplinary knowledge in universities, and very importantly, from a UN and UNESCO point of view, an understanding of the global challenges. Like we have sustainable development goals, and what are those challenges which are faced by the humanity, and how every discipline can contribute to solving those challenges, the challenges of poverty, the challenges of hunger, the challenges of health, the challenges related to education, challenges related to gender, for example, challenges related to the decent work and innovation and all the way. So for that, maybe we need a specialized curriculum
Right.
for at different levels for better global citizenship, for people to understand our role in this world, who we are, from where we came, and how can we change this world to become a more secure world, a more prosperous world, a world where there is dignity for everyone, there is respect for every culture. We need the special kind of approach along with the traditional disciplines, and that's a challenge for China as well as for the world. World needs more better understanding of all the issues of this global village. There is only one planet Earth, and all of us have to make it sustainable and have to make it work for everyone, and that needs a better understanding of issues beyond China. and there needs better understanding of issues related to climate change, global warming. These are not traditional issues which we ever dealt before.
Would it be difficult for headmasters of those schools to arrange such curriculum? Because it's the students here in China already have a huge burdens, if you will, and for their homework after class curriculums, things like that. Have you seen any schools in China have already arranged or have designs for such lessons or classes?
Some schools are already doing.
All right. In Shanghai?
Even in here in Beijing and other cities as well. But overall, China has followed a system of excellence in research, the system of professors who are very, very highly qualified, the academician. That's all wonderful. But at the same time, we need to now start thinking about the next challenge. It's not only the primary, secondary, college or university, it's at all levels. So we need to start thinking about extracurricular activities while we are not burdening our students with the new curricula or books and all of that. So more link with society, more link, like we understand our own river, we understand our own environment. We go and meet with the local industry and understand what they are doing, and they also have programs linked with the schools. So some of that already happening.
Right.
But in the long run, still, for example, a graduate in engineering has to be with a basic degree in engineering before they will be given a chance to the master or PhD in that discipline. We have not developed to the level where we are able to take a graduate in, for example, fine arts and bring them into the engineering discipline, and vice versa. But this happens over time.
Right.
Interdisciplinarity and understanding of the global issues. There are many people who are studying international relations for a long time, and there are schools who are specializing in that. But why not international relationships with the robotics, for example, or with the nanotechnologies, for example. So as we go to the areas of research at the master or at the PhD levels, we need to bring more of those interdisciplinary areas. That is our next frontier, to come up with solutions, which are the big challenges which we have. Like, we are lagging behind on all sustainable development goals. For that, we need professionals who should be able to think in a whole systems way and find, this is my part I will do within, and this is how I will link with other people, and how we will find solutions at teams together, teams in a university, teams in a city, teams which can be drawn across the world. And that's the power of imagination, innovation, going beyond the typical kind of curricula, going beyond passing the exams to finding solutions. I think that's where the future for education and science and technology and the next step for education is.
Indeed, and more linkage with the real world, I would say.
More linkage with real world. Like when I was a student at the university level, for me, most important thing was I have these many subjects I have to clear in this semester.
Yeah.
And I must work hard, and I must remember everything, and I must write them down on paper when it comes. But now the time has changed. So it's more like finding solutions for the real world, but not only just my discipline. How can I link with other disciplines? Can I go and attend some basic classes and courses in other parts of the university or in another university, and coming up with curricula which goes beyond the boundaries of a university? How can we create more linkages with the businesses, for example, or with the tech companies, for example, so that they can become part of the education system also.
Indeed, very insightful. And last but not least, we've already come to the last question already. What would be your suggestion for China in its... you've already had a lot of it, suggestions, right?
Okay.
I think anything to add? I can't think of
Really?
from your part.
I think China must continue this message of hope.
Right.
And there are can be many critics. We can talk negatively about anything we like. Positivity is more important than ever before. If we have to avoid the imminent wars or the wars which are already happening, if we have to overcome those wars, we need to think positively and bring the intercultural dialogue and respect for all cultures. We must understand and foresee threats rather than being in the middle of them. And we need to get our education systems ready, and we need to create those conditions through better education, through better understanding of culture, through sharing of science and technology, and respect for how do we reduce social inequality. Even in China, we have social inequalities. People who are far away from Beijing, and there are many programs I know that cities like Shanghai, Beijing, others, schools which are high schools, they need to go and link with the poor communities as well. We need more of those examples and messages of hope. Yes, we can do it, and we can overcome these challenges. That's really our the next step.
How? Through more investment or more, trained teachers or anything else?
So first of all, we need to find those success stories and tell them. Storytelling is very, very important.
Yes.
Because the world sees everything like China is like a big box, but within that there are so many interesting things happening. So that's role of also the media as well, that we go and find the stories of those schools working together. We find how innovation has changed the local industry, like also the examples of farmers who are able to sell their products through e-commerce, and how benefits have come back to them. So those are the messages of hope. If it can be done in a faraway village in Sichuan, like with I like the local oranges from there. They're very, very juicy and very sweet, and they can sell it to someone far away in Beijing or in Shanghai. Why not a farmer in faraway place in Pakistan, close to Peshawar? They're struggling with their livelihood. They also produce very, very wonderful fruits. How can they use the similar techniques of e-commerce, and how can they become part of such kind of prosperity? Those are interesting examples. We need to understand more of them. And we need to bring the benefits of such kind of knowledge and understanding to the people in the world, and similarly for education and other areas too.
Right. That's what UNESCO and I think China are jointly promoting or championing around the world, right?
Yeah, sure. Like our First Lady, Madam Peng, is our special envoy for girls and women's education. Girls and women education is very, very important in this whole world. It's a big cause. And especially also for people who have been left behind, the minorities, people who do not get a chance. So these areas, by promoting those areas, first of all, China is showing its strong commitment that it's very important to have girls and women's education. But at the same time, how can we promote those best cases from around the world, from Africa, from Asia, from other parts, from Latin America? There are so many interesting examples like that. So we need to continue to highlight some of those success stories which have come through, and the success stories along the Belt and Road, beyond investments, into the soft side, how people have changed their lives.
But what has been the have been the bottlenecks preventing that from happening faster? Like you said, we can actually bring more, agricultural products from Pakistan to China. It again goes to the infrastructure, right? Connectivity.
We need to build capacity of local people. For that, capacity can come by demand or by supply. It has to be by demand, so they need it and we provide them. So that capacity building at the right level with the right people, those are some of the bottlenecks. And we can have maybe pilots in a few places and show those successes. But in the long run, it has to be the way China has done it. That success follows success, and then things flow from there, like the successes of Shenzhen, for example, the big city, like what Deng Xiaoping did as an experiment, which has become now a success story to follow.
Right.
And those economic zones, and then encouraging different kind of businesses and universities, and that culture starts developing one after the other. So building from small and beautiful and concrete, but then helping local people to take their own destiny in their own hands, and then come up with that kind of positive spirit to change their own lives and the lives of the people around them. That's really the kind of approach. I always wonder how China did it, and how other countries can follow this example.
Right. Hopefully, the Belt and Road Initiative can play a bigger role there.
It's already playing a very big role,
Right.
and it's coming over many obstacles already. Beyond the criticism we hear, to
That
actual
trap.
success stories, because I think the biggest success would be these young people who have come to China through China Scholarship Council, through our teachers from China who go there, through the institutions who are going and linking there. So while we have the infrastructure, how we use it to write the next chapter of prosperity for the local people by themselves, for themselves, to take their destiny in their own hands for a better life of dignity and prosperity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Khan, for sharing that thought-provoking insights and your own experience, precious personal experiences with us.
Most welcome. Very happy to talk to you.
This is CGTN Radio. Hear the difference.